off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up out, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Bit a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our fantasy draft NBA picks for Tuesday, January 28th. We have an 8-game slate. Obviously, the Lakers-Clippers game has been postponed, so that game will not be being played tonight. It's kind of how I feel about doing all this. NBA right now is just hard to talk about. It's hard to look at. I haven't watched basketball since it all went down. I'm still kind of in disbelief. So we're going to get through it, man. Just like Kobe didn't flinch, the famous flinch. That's what we got to do. Still incredibly sad about all that. First things first, thank you for all your support. I truly do appreciate all your support, making me a part of your day. Like many of you, I'm sure NBA, thinking about NBA, DFS, the whole thing is a little bit difficult and weird right now. Just the sudden impact of all of it is a little strange. So I appreciate all your support, all of those of you tuning in, your kind words of encouragement, just the whole thing. I really appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. Cheers. Grab a coffee and Bailey's and enjoy the show. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get access to all of our NBA content for every site. We will, of course, have our NFL Super Bowl video here in the next day or so, day or two, probably a couple days. We'll have our Super Bowl single game video up, etc. for lots of stuff. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Be part of our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway sponsored by Draft Dashboard. The link for Draft Dashboard's in the link in the video description below. That's where you can get my player pool, projections, cheat sheets, etc. Lineup optimizer, you can click on that. And don't forget to comment with your Fantasy Draft username. If you do not yet have a Fantasy Draft username, you can go to Fantasy Draft, enter promo code DFS Bachelor, create an account, boom, comment with your Fantasy Draft username. What is Fantasy Draft for some of you who are new to Fantasy Draft? It's rake-free DFS. Essentially what that means, or exactly what that means, is all of your entry fees go directly back into the prize pool. For example, that means in a GPP tournament like this, like we have on the screen, the 17-5 pick and roll over here on Fantasy Draft, to double your money in the tournament, you just have to get across the money line. So all you have to do is finish in the top 25%. Now, that's easier said than done. But if you go to, say, DraftKings, to double your money in a tournament, you need to finish in the top 11%. So you can see the benefits right there. It's a lot of fun, Fantasy Draft. Be sure to check it out. I will also point out they have double the salary cap of DraftKings. So a player like Kemba Walker, for example, who's $14,400, that's the equivalent of about 7.7 on, or 7.2 rather, excuse me if I get my math correct, 7,200 on DraftKings. So just kind of to give you some perspective on that. So I do like a quick core 5 players that I think could do well tonight for our fantasy draft videos. We have one of these Monday through Friday. If there's no slate, then I do one on Saturday. Sometimes I throw some bonus ones in on the weekends. Title of the sex tape. There you go. So let's start at the top. And the aforementioned Kemba Walker, 14-4 on fantasy draft. Miami, 4th against opposing guards. They're 4th against opposing point guards as well. Miami's on a back-to-back, so there's a good chance that a guy like maybe Jimmy Butler doesn't play as many minutes. There's still, Kendrick Nunn, we're not sure if he's going to play. Justice Winslow's out, etc. Goran Dragic, it's a back-to-back. So even though I don't love the matchup, I like the usage. It looks like Jason Tatum's doubtful again for tonight, which means the scoring for Kemba Walker goes up. He did put up a 51 his last time out against Miami. Back-to-back strong efforts for him as well as 61 and a 54. I like Kemba Walker at 14-4. We're getting him for the equivalent of 7-2, and I believe he's 7-8 today on DraftKings. So I do like Kemba Walker a lot. Next, Devin Booker playing against another team, Dallas, who's on a back-to-back. Dallas is 9th against guards in terms of fantasy draft scoring. They're 5th against shooting guards. It's a back-to-back for Dallas. There's a chance that there's no Ricky Rubio, meaning much higher usage for Devin Booker, a 47 and a 36 in his last 2 games against Dallas. Can see his last 5 games overall, only 1 game under 45. He had a 52 and a 67 in that time frame. I like Devin Booker a lot tonight, especially if Ricky Rubio is out. That brings us to another value guy, especially if Ricky Rubio's out, and I still like him either way. I think Michael Bridges is too cheap. He's the guy that will benefit the most from Ricky Rubio being out. He'll have extra usage, will probably start, etc. We have him down at 7,900 on FantasyDraft. That's the equivalent of just over 3,900, which is about what he is on DraftKings. I mean, even in his last 5 games overall, only 1 game under 22. He has a 42 in that time frame. Dallas, 25th against opposing forwards / centers. They're 28th against small forwards. Michael Bridges is an excellent value play tonight, especially if Ricky Rubio is indeed out. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. As soon as all the information comes out, of course, I will have it up there on the screen. Next, Eric Bledsoe, 12.5 on FantasyDraft, so he's about 6,250 there. He's 6,600 on DraftKings today. Washington's 23rd against opposing point guards. They're 28th overall against guards in terms of FantasyDraft scoring. In his last 4 games against Washington, he has a 51, a 49, a 41, and then a 25. It's a nice matchup for Eric Bledsoe. I think the price is right. You can sign me up for that tonight. And finally, a guy who's finally passed that little minutes limit he was facing coming back from injury in a paced-up game against an Atlanta defense who's allowing the most points in the league to forwards / centers in terms of FantasyDraft scoring. They're 28th in the league against small forwards, power forwards. That's Pascal Siakam, 15.2 on FantasyDraft. So you're getting him for about 7.6. He's 8K today on DraftKings. When you look at his last 3 games against Atlanta, his last time out, just a 32. But again, that was a couple of weeks ago when he was still on that minutes limit. His 2 games before that, a 50 and a 63. Just put up a 50 in his last game out. I think Pascal Siakam against Atlanta at home is a nice matchup tonight. So if you go with that core of Kemba Walker, Devin Booker, Eric Bledsoe, Michael Bridges, Pascal Siakam, that still leaves you 11,400 per player. Plenty of salary to fill out the rest of your roster. Again, we're never going to just put up the 5 most expensive players and then tell you to go bleep yourself and good luck. We don't do that here. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be part of our giveaway. Comment with your FantasyDraft username. Don't forget promo code DFS Bachelor when signing up at FantasyDraft. Rake free DFS. It's a lot of fun. Again, I appreciate all your support. Cheers to you all. Thank you all so much for hanging in there. I know it's kind of a rough time for us NBA fans. May the fantasy gods be with you all tonight. Good luck, and we'll see you here shortly. I'll have another NBA video up for today as well for the other sites, so you can cover all of our bases. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye, folks.